My name's Mo Bunnell, and I'm a founder and CEO of Bunnell Idea Group. What we do is we help experts grow their businesses. And what we find is as people get deeper in the expertise, they dial up their craft, like how they have to learn their craft, and they generally dial down the craft of growing. So, for instance, people get really good at doing the work sometimes, but not so good at drumming up more. And folks that have a little bit of both roles in the same human brain need some help typically learning how to do the drumming up more part. And that's how we help them, is we teach them how to do it in a way that's authentic and genuine, that they can be really excited about, and they can create a customer experience on the other side that the customer is excited about coming to them and spending a disproportionate amount of their spend with these great people that they fall in love with. How do people understand the buying tendencies and the process of their customers? I'll give two answers. One is we should ask them. And I know that sounds crazy and simple, but it's true. When we're working with one client, even if they're in the same industry as another, they may not go through the same process for purchasing our services as someone else did in a prior life. And the same thing goes through for all of our clients. When they call on their prospects, one organizations might buy completely differently than another. And many things can change that. One's the culture, one is where they're at in the budget cycle, one is the entry point we come in. Maybe we're coming in at the CEO at one organization or at the board level. Another place we're coming in the door 4, 5, 6, 8 levels down from that. So all those dictate a different buying experience. So when we can ask questions of our customer about what are their goals, what would they like to accomplish, what would the timing would be perfect, what budget would be perfect, what would the team look like, when we can ask questions like all of that and they get really excited about moving forward, a great question to ask is, gosh, what's the next logical step? What should we do next? And then what we found with our clients is you ask for that next meeting right then and there. We had one client where we actually measured this, and they used to have great meetings. They were really proud that they had a 54% flow-through rate from one meeting to the next. So they'd have great meetings, they'd leave, they'd pack up all their stuff and go out, and then they'd follow up the next day with an email saying, glad we decided on the meeting, when would be a great place to meet? We just changed one thing in the process. Instead of waiting to the next day to send the email, right when you're in the meeting, when everybody's excited, pull out your phone and say, hey, when should we schedule that next meeting? Yeah, and figure it out, even if it's tentative. Their flow-through rate went from 54%, no exaggeration, to 95%. Selling the same thing, talking about the same products to similar people, but they almost doubled their chance of going from one meeting to the next when they locked in the meeting, in the next meeting in the one they're at. And it was a really neat and easy change to make, and they had phenomenal results. What we see, probably the biggest thing we see that people can do to enhance or improve the customer experience is to make it enjoyable. There's some taboo thing in business that we're not supposed to have fun, or we should always be logical or whatever. That's crazy. All the behavioral science shows that humor in meetings gets more things done, makes them more memorable, and has a higher chance of it spreading to other places, right? Referrals or other ways. So by adding humor to meetings or phone calls or Skype meetings or WebExes or whatever, we can actually get more done counterintuitively and make it a higher likelihood that more people will hear about us. So what we like to do is create a whole brain experience around a meeting where we think of the Herman brain dominance instrument, where there's 4 major ways people think. One is strategic thinking. What's the goal for the meeting? What should we try to accomplish? Opposite of that strategic meeting is the agenda. What things do we need to cover? What decisions do we make? What intervals, what should they be so that we can accomplish the goal? So you've got the goal, and then you've got the process to get there. The other two are logic is the third one. How should we talk about money? What data do we have to support this? Who do we need to get buy-in logically to get budget approved or whatever? And then that last piece is what people usually leave out, the human element. How can we make this fun? How can we make it enjoyable? How can we take boredom and throw it to the side and create a different experience for the meeting instead of just sitting all around the same table? We always sit around looking at PowerPoint decks with 8-point font. But can we make it interactive? Can we tell a joke? Can we create stories around this? How can we make it humanistic? How can we make it memorable and fun? And we find when people do that, they get more done, and it's just so much more enjoyable.